Did we not get the milk?
Can someone get the milk?
Where is it?
It's in a plastic bag.
Yeah, it's right there.
Sorry, can...
Yeah, I can reach it.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Serial and Killers podcast, where we talk about horrible people who did bad things and eat some cereal. Today we have Frosted Flakes. He's crawling on me. Today we have Frosted Flakes, and we're going to be talking about Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. Bad guy. It's a long story. Should we start now? Or no, we need to pour the cereal first.
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh,
you're okay.
There's a cat. There's a good boy. He's so soft. Okay.
Come here.
So today it's Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes. Frosted Bundy. Yeah. You hear that? Cereal. Let's get this one right by the mic. Delicious. And milk time. Okay, why don't I get started while you're pouring the milk? There's cat hair on my paper. So, Ted Bundy was born in 1946 in Burlington, Vermont, to Eleanor Louise Cowell. She gave birth to him in a home for unwed mothers. His given last name was Cowell, because that's her last name. And his father was never known and has still never been identified. His birth certificate credits his father as an Air Force veteran named Lloyd Marshall, though accounts vary. His mother claimed that the father was an old retired war vet named Jack Worthington.
Is someone just allowed to eat milk?
A little bit.
Solstice can have a little milk.
I hate the feeling of cat tongues on my finger.
He loves
a little
me.
milk.
Okay, you can have one more. You can have...
Look at the milk. Wait a second.
He's purring. He
Did
loves
he purr
me.
into the mic?
Okay, no
Okay.
more.
So where was his father?
No one knows.
No one knows.
So wait.
Some speculate that Eleanor was impregnated by her own father,
Oh no.
who was reportedly violently abusive. Oh, family members are the ones that speculated that, by the way. It's not like random people.
Oh. Ready?
Mm.
Is swearing aloud?
Yeah, I'm gonna edit it out, though.
Okay.
Do whatever you want. So for the first 3 years of his life, he was raised by his mother's parents in Philadelphia because they wanted to avoid the stigma, because it was like the 60s? 40s. Sorry, 40s. It was the 40s, and it was bad to have a kid that was not that was out of wedlock.
A bastard.
Bundy was actually told that his mother was his older sister and his grandparents were his parents.
Oh,
And most of his family and their friends were told that as well. Yeah. His parents were aggressively religious and ashamed of Bundy. So off to a good start, you know.
They're ashamed
Nothing
of
could
him
possibly
because
go
he
wrong.
was
Out of wedlock.
out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Bad start.
When he was asked, Bundy spoke very lovingly of his grandparents, especially his grandfather. Except his grandfather had been reported by some to be aggressively racist towards Italians, Catholics, Jews, and black people. And once threw Bundy's Aunt Julia, like his mom's sister, down the stairs because she'd slept in. Reportedly. I don't know why you lie about that.
I can assume that's real.
Yeah. He was also said to have beaten his wife. And swung neighborhood cats by their tails.
Don't listen, so.
He would also talk to himself, but did so as if there was someone he was talking to. So that's cool. So mental illness was quite common in Bundy's mother's side. You don't know about his father's side. So who knows?
Oh.
But what?
Her dad? Look. Oh. Sorry.
What?
No, I'm just realizing that her grandpa, or his grandpa is like the weird...
Is his dad.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Cats,
Possibly.
Cats, dude. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's okay, buddy.
Mental illness was very common on his mom's side. His grandmother underwent electroconvulsive therapy to treat her depression and became afraid to leave the house towards the end of her life.
God.
What, ECT? it's bad now. I can only imagine how bad it was back then.
Yeah, that just makes you have like PTSD. It doesn't help anything.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this giant
bad.
flake.
That's mine. Let's get an ASMR moment.
Oh,
I know that Solstice is only sitting with me
Okay,
because he
sorry
wants
about
more
that.
milk, but you can't give him. I don't want him to have diarrhea.
Solstice can have a little milk as a treat.
And he's already had his treat.
cats can have a little milk.
Cats can have a lot of milk. They can have a feast. They can have a million milks.
No. Not if you want to. Actually, you don't clean up his poop.
I
so.
don't.
It's Maybe this time you'll see it.
Oh no. I've only seen his vomit before.
For clarification, Solstice is Zara's cat,
Can't believe
and
you've never seen him.
I forgot to introduce you guys. This is Zara, and this is Anna, and they're my
Hello.
guests. I just forgot. This is my first episode. I'm not good. Okay. For clarification, Solstice just poops somewhere,
Outside.
but no one
He's
knows.
an outdoor cat.
No one's ever
I've
seen
never cleaned up his poop. We tried to have a litter box.
it. No one knows where he
I
goes.
don't know.
He just doesn't
It's
vibe
the
with
neighbor's
that.
problem.
It's
Choose
and
small
they
gift for
find
them.
diarrhea. They'll be mad.
I think it's like a raccoon or something.
Ew. That's gross.
Oh no. Incoming.
He's gonna eat my cereal. Okay. Anyway, okay. What was I saying? He's just sitting in. Okay.
ASMR.
You're gonna pick up a lot of cat purring on the microphone now.
Yeah, because he loves me.
Well, now he loves the cereal. Okay.
Okay.
It's getting so. I mean, that's what I expected, and I'm fine with it.
Okay, Solstice?
No. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Bundy's first recorded incident happened when he was only 3. His Aunt Julia reported waking up one morning to find kitchen knives surrounding her while Bundy smiled and stared at her from the end of the bed.
3?
Yeah, he
You
was
even
3.
have thoughts when you're 3?
He's sniffing the microphone.
Keep going, bud.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
both.
Bundy and his real mother moved out when he was 5 to Tacoma, Washington. Reports say that they both left due to repeated beatings from Bundy's grandfather. His mom married a hospital clerk named Johnny Bundy. Her son didn't like his stepfather and told a girlfriend he was not very bright and didn't make much money. So maybe second father figure he gets in his life. First one maybe beat him. Second one he just hated. So that's cool. There's not much else known about his childhood. From outside appearances, he grew up in a normal family, except for his fascination with death and knives. He did well in school, and Bundy has told biographers that he chose to be alone and didn't know how to make friends, but classmates have told reporters he's actually well-respected and somewhat liked. I don't know.
So he had a very bad childhood.
Not good, no. As he grew up, Bundy admitted to biographers that he would sometimes consume a lot of alcohol and stare at people through their windows. He has even said on record that he would look through true crime magazines to find pictures of dead bodies, search through the trash for pictures of naked women, and he also just stole so much. He was just a kleptomane. Like, he stole so
Just
much.
like everything?
Everything. And it keeps going.
What was his job?
He had a few, and they're alarming.
Oh.
So
Not like they would be alarming for normal people. They're alarming that he was doing them.
Was he like a mortician?
right, are they in like
No.
positions of power and stuff?
No. Well, somewhat. You'll find out. He took back some of the statements, though, saying he could never have imagined someone doing that. He lied a lot. No Solstice. Side note, he skied a lot. I don't know why I felt like mentioning that. He skied.
I mean, if you live in Washington.
I mean,
He lived
skiing.
in Washington?
I'm just looking for a correlation between
No.
skiers and
No milk.
murderers. Nope.
Skiing and what?
Murderers?
Oh,
You know?
I thought you liked skiing.
I've only been once. I don't think I would. I don't know.
No milk. No.
That's the only acceptable
Buddy.
time to pour cereal over milk.
He really wants.
I'm sorry, but it's already sweet.
Oh, when Bundy found out the truth of his parentage, he was very resentful towards his mother for the rest of his life. I don't think they even talked much. He graduated in high school in 1975 and went to university to study Chinese. He started dating a girl who is, I think it's a pseudonym, but it's Stephanie Brooks. She's important. We'll come back to her later.
Okay.
No, we won't, because she's in this next part. Just kidding. He dropped out in 1968 to work. He actually did a lot of stuff in politics. He was like a big part of a lot of Republican campaigns throughout a lot of his life. His girlfriend broke up with him because she thought he was immature and lacked ambition, and this I think is like or that's what people say, is this is a really pivotal point in his development. Like,
when she broke up
with him. Like, he had, like, no ambition or anything, and she just dumped him. And, yeah.
Imagine dating Ted Bundy.
Yeah. There's a few people we'll go through. Then another relationship started in 1969 with a girl named Elizabeth Klopfer. She's also important. They're all important. Sometimes in the 1970s, he enrolled as a psych major at Washington University, or University in Washington. I just wrote UW. I don't know which one that is. And for a while, this is the part that scares me, worked as a suicide hotline crisis center.
Oh, no.
Did he?
I don't know what he did. I don't know if he was actually on the phone. But imagine being talked down by Ted Bundy.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Maybe
what I don't know. He could have just been like an office clerk or something, or like worked at the desk or something.
But like they don't know. They don't have a way of knowing.
Did they record those?
Yeah, could they record those?
Like,
I don't know. I feel like he can't.
He could have been the one. Like,
I don't think he did. He was really manipulative, and he probably I don't think he would do that. He would have gotten fired. Like, he cared about himself too much.
But like, how would they be able to tell?
No, he hadn't done anything that people knew about yet. So.
Yeah. So how would they be able to tell if he wasn't talking them down, but instead like
making it?
That's what scares the shit out of me. Jesus. Yeah. Anyway, he graduated in 1972 and was super well respected by his peers, apparently. After that, he would continue to help with a lot of Republican campaigns. In 1973, he applied and was accepted into law school, even though he had, like, mediocre test scores. And I think it was just because he had so many connections to, like, Republican, like, senators and stuff that he helped with their campaigns. That's my theory, is that they were, like... I don't know. He, like, didn't have good test scores, but he got into, like, 2 law schools. So...
From, like, his status or something? Or, like, his...
Because he
probably, like, connections. Yeah. Then he ended up getting back together with his first girlfriend, and he was still dating the other girl, Elizabeth.
Oh, they're still there?
Yeah. Though neither of them knew. Stephanie Brooks, the first girl, she was even at that point. She got back together with him because she saw, like, he was motivated now. You can't use that spoon anymore. He's licking it.
I know.
You have to... Okay. You can't leave. Oh, no.
Well, there's not
There's
much
not
left.
much milk. He's just getting the...
He's just, like, really sucking it dry.
He's just washing it for you.
You don't even have to watch this.
Anyway, so Stephanie, like, got back together with him because she saw... She saw how motivated he was now, and he was, like, doing stuff. So they got back together, and she was even considering marrying him at one point, and I think introduced him as her fiancé at one point. And out of nowhere, he just broke off all contact, like, didn't talk to her, like, just disappeared. And then she, like, was trying to call him for, like, months, and then he finally responded, and she was like, why did you end things? And she was like, Stephanie, I have no idea what you're talking about, which is creepy, and he just hung up. And later when questioned, he would say, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could have married her. Like, the whole thing was a plan to, like, get the last say and, like, dump her.
Because she broke up with him. So he wanted to hurt her?
Yeah. So
that has happened in our lives.
But not...
certain someone before.
What?
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, did that?
Yeah.
Is that the story? Nobody's ever explained it to me.
Mm-hmm.
He did that?
Yeah.
To who?
You don't have to bleep these names.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Yeah.
broke up with him. He got back together with her, like, begged her just so he could break up with her again. And, like, get her back.
That's okay. I knew I didn't like him for some reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Okay. But yeah, he, like, meticulously planned out. You'll see that a lot, is he, like, plans things out. And it seems spontaneous. And he was just planning the whole thing, and it's really creepy.
Oh.
Yeah. So he'd been planning to get revenge on her for dumping him 4 years ago. So that's cool. And then around this time, Bundy had been skipping classes. In April 1974, he stopped attending completely, which coincides with the first murders.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We're not going to get into a lot of details. Basically...
Murderous details?
Yes. We're not going to get into that. Yeah. No one really knows how many he's done. I think he officially confessed to 30 murders. Possibly 100 based on, like, some things he said and, like, some evidence.
Jeez.
So
why
this
would
was
you
a
only
bad guy.
confess to, like, half of them if you already have confessed?
Like, yeah,
Like,
don't
most serial killers want the fame and want the recognition?
Okay, but the way he confessed was, like, he was saying someone else did it. He was like, they must have
like,
done this, they must have done
I
that.
remember that. I've seen the thing where
Ted Bundy tapes?
the like, interrogator was like, let's talk about, like, your friend or something, right? Like, he was talking through a different person, like a third person.
Oh, so it's like, say my friend, like in that, like, that trope of, like, oh,
just
my
ask
friend
him for a
just ask me
friend.
for a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, also, I think half of the ones he confessed to so he could get a shorter sentence, but in the end it didn't matter. Yeah. All of his, so his MO. His known victims were mostly white females, most of middle-class backgrounds, all of them between ages of 15 and 20, not all of them, average of 15 and 25. There was one or two that were 12.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. And they all looked like most of them looked a lot like his first girlfriend. The one he did the whole revenge thing on.
Yeah, they were, like, brunette, right?
I'm not, like, brunette or, like, yeah, like, blonde, brown,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all looked like her. So not all of the girls he has a lot of victims that survived. Or, like, just didn't go with him, but, like, saw him and were almost but some that survived and were, like, traumatized for life. As you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. His first 2 killing sprees happened in Washington and a bit later in Oregon in the mid-70s. There's a total of 8 victims in Washington. According to Wikipedia, on Bundy, in 1974, the rates of girls disappearing from their colleges was about 1 per month. Because he mostly went after college girls. Woo! Yeah, it's bad.
Don't woo. No woo.
I mean,
Boo.
He sucks.
Boo.
Yeah. Boo. Boo. Around this time, he met Carol Ann Boone, a twice-divorced mother of 2. They dated for a while, but she's way more important later. It's weird. His tactics often involved using his looks and charm to get women to help him out with something, sometimes making himself look more vulnerable by wearing a sling or using crutches. He would even impersonate an officer sometimes. If not that, it was breaking into their houses, beating them, and kidnapping them. Or just beating them. It was
So
bad.
he left some people?
Yeah, for different reasons. Like, I don't know if he ever did it on purpose.
Oh, like he wouldn't have, he would, like,
He would,
hurt
like,
them
get interrupted.
Oh. And they, like, escaped or something?
Or he
He
just,
had
like,
to
left
run
them,
away?
like, he had to leave, couldn't take them.
But they never said anything?
Well, they did, but he wore... I'll get into the masks he wore.
Oh, okay.
So, Elizabeth, who he was still dating on the time, would go on to make multiple calls to the police about her suspicions of Bundy. His name was added to a list of suspects, which would help his capture later. So that's cool. No. Bundy got accepted to the University of Utah Law School and found he didn't understand any of the curriculum and became frustrated that other people could do it. So he's very much like he has to prove himself. Very much like, why do they get it? Why don't I get it? And he, like, got really frustrated and I think dropped out.
Well,
He
yeah.
wouldn't- What?
Why don't I get it? I got into this school not because I'm smart or have any of the
Yeah, like he wasn't.
means
Yeah.
to understand law, but I used my connection.
Yeah, he was really. Yeah. He also went on to murder 9 women in Colorado, Utah, and Idaho, not in that order, before his first capture in 1975. So there were already police sketches circulating because several women managed to escape before he could do anything to them. Even his girlfriend saw the sketch and was like, oh, that could be him. But she and most others decided he was, like, too good a person to be behind it.
He was so good at manipulating people.
Yeah. He was, like, good looking, which I've seen pictures. I don't get it.
He's just kind of like a regular guy,
But
like very average.
He looks so off. Maybe that's just his eyes.
He's kind of got creepy eyes.
His eyes are so dead. But, like, I just mean the general, like, he's not even that attractive.
No.
I don't get it. Anyway. Also just the whole people being super, like, in love with serial killers in the first place.
Yeah, that's just, like, the...
Why? Anyway. Like, the show You right now, I don't know, I haven't seen it. But, I don't know, is it, like, glorified?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, August 16th, 1975, the first capture. Bundy was pulled over after driving down a street in the suburbs, seeing a patrol car, and fleeing. In the Volkswagen, the patrol officer found a ski mask, rope, an ice pick, a crowbar, trash bags, and a mask made of pantyhose.
Oh.
Like, you know, it's like mesh.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he... yeah. Another detective, Jerry Thompson, recognized the name from Elizabeth's calls and realized he matched the profile of another suspect they talked to during one of Bundy's murders. So they talked to him during one of his own murders, and they were like, no, it's not you. They found more evidence, but a lot of it was circumstantial, so they couldn't detain him. So I wrote Bunster here. I don't remember why. Bunster was on 24-hour surveillance while my man Jer flew out to interview Elizabeth. She admitted she would find questionable items in her house and his apartment, such as, quote, crutches, a bag of plaster of Paris, which is like, it's just a brand of plaster, that he admitted stealing from a medical supply house, a meat cleaver that was never used for cooking, surgical gloves, an oriental knife that he kept in a wooden case that he kept in his glove compartment, and a sack full of women's clothing. Why would you stay with him?
Yeah.
If you found those things.
There's, like, no explanation for those.
Like, oh, this bag of women's clothing, this cleaver?
I just want to try it out. Like,
okay. He would also never let her cut her hair, and she would catch him examining her body with the light undercutters in the middle of the night.
What the fuck? That's
bad.
such a red flag.
So much. I don't know.
You're just so
They've
sexy.
been dating for a long time. But also...
Didn't she, like, eventually call in?
No, she called in a few times
Oh.
saying she had... I said that earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Stinky. No, yeah, she called in a few times at, like, talking about... Like, she was like, oh, I'm kind of suspicious. And that, like, helped lead to his capture because the officer recognized his name from his girlfriend phoning in.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay,
Got
okay.
it. I wasn't linking those.
Okay. Yeah. So... Bundy was, like, off. He, like, sold his Volkswagen, and police tracked it down and dismantled it and searched it. They found hair matching 3 of the victims. Oh, this is all happening before DNA matching and everything, so that's why he got away with so much. They put him in a lineup for this girl, Carol Durant. She was one of the girls he had attempted to kidnap while impersonating a police officer, but she escaped. And she correctly identified him as her kidnapper. Like, I think the story was, like, he was like, your car was stolen. He was dressed up as a police officer. They went to his car. She was like, you're not going in the direction of the police station. He tried to handcuff her. In the struggle, he somehow handcuffed her hand twice, the same hand.
Oh.
So then she ran away. And that was it. Yeah. Yes, they were able to convict him for kidnapping and assault, but did not have enough hard evidence for all the other murders. He was sentenced to 1 to 15 years in the Utah State Prison in 1976, and then was transferred to the Garfield County Jail in Glenwood Springs. This is where it gets kind of exciting. Mid-1977, for the preliminary hearing, he chose to act as his own lawyer, so he was excused for wearing handcuffs or shackles by the judge. During recess, he asked to go to the library to research his case. When the guards weren't looking, he jumped from the 2nd story, injuring his ankle. He shed some clothes and hiked up a mountain where he broke into a cat. Like, he escaped.
Oh my god.
He escaped the jail. To steal food, clothing, and a rifle. Like, he was on a mountain.
Oh my god.
And he just escaped. He was lost in the forest for 2 days, broke into a trailer to steal more things. See, like, he steals so much. His girlfriend said, like, most of anything valuable he owned was stolen because he barely kept a job.
Did he steal because he didn't have money or because he wanted to?
It was also because he wanted to, because he would do that as a kid as well. Yeah, he got lost in the forest. Yeah. He couldn't, but he stole a car. He couldn't drive efficiently because he was so sleep deprived and had injured his ankle. So officers noticed his car, like, weaving back and forth in lanes, and they pulled him over and arrested him again. It was 6 days that he was on the run until returning to prison. Police found maps in the car potentially leading to a victim's body that he had buried on the mountain, meaning likely this was all planned out and not just a spontaneous escape.
What?
So wait,
He
killed while he was escaped?
No.
He
it was,
killed
like, before, and he was, like, gonna go back to a body or something.
Oh.
And, like, do this thing.
I have no idea. It's he did that with other people, though. So. Okay, so rationally, like, Bundy actually still stood a chance in the case and was advised legally to stay put. He didn't. He got a detailed floor plan of the prison and a hacksaw from other inmates, and he had $500 smuggled in from the girl Carol Ann Boone, who he'd been back and forth with for a while, and she would visit him frequently. Boone. Yes, Boone is bad.
Who's that?
This girl he started seeing for a while he was still
when he was trying to get back at his ex.
Yeah, he was just no, because he'd been seeing this Elizabeth girl for a while.
When did she come in, Carol?
She just kind of came in randomly. I don't know. They met through, like, maybe one of the political things. I don't remember. But basically, she came in, and she
came in clutch.
She came in clutch, and she did not care about what he did, and
So she knew?
Oh, she, I think, denied it a lot, but she gave him $500 to help him escape.
In jail. Yeah.
Yeah, so. In the night. Okay. In the night, while other prisoners were in the shower, this was on... Oh, no, this isn't. Okay. He carved a 1-foot hole in the steel bars in the ceiling. He had lost 35 pounds, so he easily fit himself through and into the space above, and for weeks practiced what route he would use to escape. On December 30th, Bundy escaped again. It was Christmas break. Okay, so he didn't escape before. He was just, like, planning which route to go to. He was practicing. And then on December 30th, he escaped. It was Christmas break, so most of the staff was there. It was, like, a skeleton staff. Like, the staff was on holiday, so it was, like...
It's, like, bare minimum.
Yeah. And even some prisoners were, like, on furlough. So he went to bed with books, or he stuffed his bed with books to make it look like he was sleeping. And then he climbed up into the ceiling, into the little hole he made. And then he broke through the ceiling into, like, the chief jailer's office, like, the main guy, while he was on holiday with his wife. And Bundy stole normal clothes from the janitor's closet and literally walked out the door.
Oh my god.
Like, just walked out. And
wow.
It's like a movie.
I don't know. And then he stole a car, but it broke down not far from the prison. Motorcyclist gave him a lift for a while. Then he bused to Denver, caught a flight to Chicago, from which he went to a train to Michigan.
To buy a plane
ticket. It was the 70s.
Oh my god.
Did he not need a passport?
I'm sure that got smuggled in or something. I don't know. He made it. He did that. Then he drove to Atlanta. Then he took a bus to Tallahassee, Florida. And no one noticed he'd escaped till 17 hours after he'd been on the run.
Oh my god.
So, it's 1978. This is bad again. While he was in Florida, he broke into Florida State University, Chi Omega sorority house, killed 2 women, assaulted another 2. A few blocks away, he broke into another student's apartment, and he assaulted her and left her deaf. And she was also a dancer, and I think he, like, ruined her balance. It was bad. She lost her career. Yeah. So she survived, but, like, not good. So, while he was free, he murdered 3 women. I'm not sure who the third one was. And assaulted 3. I don't know. And then... This is fun, guys. Come on. This is fun. Who wants more cereal?
I don't.
No? You can't eat out of that bowl anyway. The cat licked it clean.
Probably have more chips later.
Okay. Come on, guys. Cheer up. Come on, guys.
What are you looking for?
The chips.
They're back there.
She put them over there because she was feeling chip sick.
I felt chip sick. So while driving in a stolen Volkswagen, he was pulled aside by some officers.
Another Volkswagen?
First of all, it was the 70s. It was a lot of Volkswagens. It was like the Beatles, you know?
Because he had, like, a beige Volkswagen, right?
That's somewhere on display. I think that might have been the last one.
That was, like, yeah.
I think his girlfriend also had one where he would switch out of his own and his girlfriend's. Yeah.
They're the same car.
2 different Volkswagens, but yeah. So, because the Volkswagen was stolen, he was pulled aside by some officers because there was a warrant out for the stolen car, and they told him he was under arrest. He kicked the officer and ran. The officer fired, missed, then got up and chased him and tackled him. Yeah. The officer brought him in, and he didn't even realize he was, like, Ted Bundy. He was just like, this kicked me. And, yeah, he was on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives. Which is, yeah. 1979, he was back on trial, and this time in Miami for the Chi Omega murders and assaults. That's the sorority. He elected to be his own attorney, which was basically suicide, because he had about 1 year of law school. Maybe less.
And he wasn't good at it.
And he wasn't good at it.
Going on, yeah.
One of the attorneys who was supposed to have defended him said he just sabotaged the entire defense effort out of spite, distrust, and grandiose delusion, just to be in control. Like, he couldn't even let other people defend him. He was like, I need to be in control. So that's cool. At this point, the trial was very popular, covered by 250 reporters, and the first nationally televised trial in the States. And women all over America became obsessed with him for some reason. I just don't get it.
Idolization of scary men.
But, like, what? They're just like, no, he's too pretty, he didn't do it, and he would, like, get so much fan mail, and I just don't know why.
Yeah, no, that's how that works. If you're pretty, you don't do bad things.
Maybe. Just maybe. It's mental illness in it. Wish I could do a better British accent for that.
Where's Renee?
If she does the accent on my podcast, I'm kicking her off. It's not allowed. Okay, here's an interesting bit. No, that's not it. This is it. No. Anyway, hair fibers, witness testimonies, and bite marks. He bit them. They were all used against him, and he was convicted for the murders.
He bit them?
He
did a lot of
bad
things, worse than a bite.
I know, but
Yeah.
that's just so weird.
I know. Biting. Biting. God.
Yeah, he's guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get one thing
Women
straight.
really want a guy who bites them?
He's guilty.
That's so soggy.
Oh, whoa.
Okay. Stop it.
It's alright. It's alright.
They're great.
This video is not sponsored by Frosted Flakes, nor has any affiliation
But
with
they're great.
Frosted Flakes.
Stop.
It's just a cereal we enjoy. Okay. Anyway, this is a weird thing. While in prison, he took advantage of this weird Florida law where you can just declare your marriage in a court, and if a judge is there, it's true. You're married. So Carol Ann Boone was there testifying, like, for him, like, on his side, obviously.
Oh, and then he just went, we're married.
During one of his trials, he asked her to marry him. She said yes, and Bundy declared they were legally married. So they got married while he was in prison, and had, like, conjugal visits and stuff. And finally, he was convicted for multiple other murders and was sentenced to death by electrocution.
Now let's talk about the death penalty.
I can't. Boone gave birth to Bundy's daughter in October 1981. Yes, there is a Bundy.
They had a baby?
They had a baby.
Bundy
There's a baby Bundy.
Bundy
offspring.
baby.
Ew, they had sex?
No.
So he had no guilt, no empathy, cold dead eyes. Basically,
Was he a
he was bad.
sociopath?
There's a few assumed diagnoses that I wrote down. Most people are saying he's like the most psychopathic thing possible. Like, he's the perfect example of a psychopath. Like, no empathy whatsoever.
Yeah.
At all.
Psychopath, you're just born like that, right?
Yeah, not every psychopath will go on to kill. Like,
Yeah.
most don't. I
There's
don't
a
know.
lot
I don't
of
have stats
psychopaths
on me,
out
but
in
there's
the
a
world.
lot. They don't do that, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it all depends on environment. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
It's like his environment was bad. He was already probably born like that, but like...
But, like, the fueling from his
Like-
grandfather.
Yeah, and just like the messed up childhood. And, like, yeah. And also possibly antisocial personality disorder, which is just sociopathy, I think. I might be wrong about that. But, like, it's more likely he was full-on psychopath. And also, a lot of people think he had narcissistic... Or, no, it's been speculated that he had narcissistic personality disorder because he had to be in control all the time. He just liked to prove himself. I feel like, okay, this is the last bit, but I feel like it's worth mentioning that circumstantial evidence has suggested that he could have killed 8-year-old Anne Marie Burr in Tacoma when he was 14 years old in 1961. He denied it whenever it was brought up, but it's possible that was actually his first kill. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I'm gonna finish my cereal. So, what do you guys think?
Bad dude.
Bad dude.
Yeah, that's like... It's funny how many times he got away. And
I don't know
in which he got caught. Where it just sounds like the actual stupidest stuff. Like I feel like he if he was smart enough to premeditate this much shit, he could have like been so much smarter about.
He was just
away.
like tired when he was driving, so he just like swerved a bunch of lanes. And they're like, "Okay, that guy's driving weird. Let's check him out." And it was him.
Not even suspecting anything, just like, oh, he's a bad driver.
And there just happened to be like a warrant out on this Volkswagen he stole. Crack your toes on the microphone?
No, I had to.
Thank you. Here, not your toes, that's your fingers. I'm too full to eat these.
Puts hand into one.
Boom. I know, I'm not cracky. Anyway, we had some technical difficulties. It just stopped recording, then the mic wouldn't work. Anyway, I'm back. It stopped recording. Now it's gonna be really loud and annoying. So. I don't remember what I was saying before it stopped recording.
I texted Gabe, listen to the new Mac Miller song. And he said, Mac Miller's dead, you know that? I said, yeah, I know.
Anyway.
You're cutting shit out.
I'm probably not going to cut that out. Oh god, the chips are going to be so annoying. Thank you.
Wait, I just want to try something.
Okay.
Wow.
So cool.
Sorry, you're so cool and smart.
Zara's really cool and smart.
I don't remember what I was saying before. Anyway, what do you guys think of all that? Was it fun?
Well, like, you didn't go into detail a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't going to tell you like what he did to
Yeah,
people.
no, that's-
It was really bad, and I
yeah.
don't want to talk about it.
Oh, we're not gonna. I was just gonna talk about
If
it.
you want to, you can. Okay. I just thought, because I'm looking more into the psychology than like
So,
what he did physically. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I know it matters to the psychology.
the
somewhat,
psychology
but, like,
of him is just, like, so weird.
it's so weird.
Like-
So much of it revolves around like his first girlfriend, which is really weird. Like all of the victims looked like her, and like I think wanted to keep his second girlfriend, like the Elizabeth girl. I think he wanted to keep her looking like her because he would not let her cut her hair or anything.
Because he had like a weird link between like sexual things and his victims.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Well, it was.
it makes sense that it would be like based on someone he had a relationship with.
Yeah. What do you guys think he did wrong there? Just.
You mean like the murdering of people?
No, I mean just how did he screw up?
Well,
and
he
get
screwed
caught?
up in a lot of ways. Like, it seemed like he almost allowed himself to get caught. Because a man of his, obviously, like, intellectual caliber,
And,
he
like,
seemed really smart.
How much he planned
and
everything
he was
out.
very meticulous in his planning. And it seems like if he wanted to use his like, actual intellectual power, he could have. And he could have he could have premeditated a lot, and he did a lot, but I feel like he didn't do it to the extent that he could have, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, you would think...
You would, like, plan the beginning and then not fully know what to do.
Yeah, and if he needed to be in power the whole time, he really relinquished power, and he relinquished himself a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought just his, like, always wanted, like, I think I forgot to mention it the first time, but, like, for the LaRoche case where it was just for, like, kidnapping and he only got, like, 1 to 15 years, he also wanted to be his own lawyer in the oh, no, I did, because that's why he escaped. But for, like, the preliminary hearing, he was his own lawyer, just because he, like, had to prove himself, even though he had, like, barely any time in law school.
Is that why he went into law school?
I don't know.
Oh. Also, is that where the trope comes from? Of, like, you know, in movies, when they'll be, like, they're like, oh, I'm my own lawyer, and then they'll, like, do from both sides. Is that where that comes from?
I don't know. I mean, you can do that.
But it seems like
he planned that so that he could escape, but then he would keep doing it to, like, prove himself. I don't know.
Anyways, talk about the psychological side. Explain it to us.
Oh, I don't have... You guys wanted me to be fast, so I didn't look that stuff up. Except for, like, him probably likely being a psychopath. Like, having no empathy for anyone at all. And, like...
Did they do tests on him?
I don't think so. I don't think... Oh, I was watching Mindhunter. I don't remember when it first... Like, they hadn't even looked into serial killers that much. In Mindhunter, it's like a... I don't know. It's about them discovering, like, psychopaths and, like, investigating serial killers and, like, diagnosing them and stuff. But before... I think it was, like, mid-70s, and I don't think they did any tests. I don't know if they did any tests.
Is that the one you were talking about Declan with?
Everyone that I've talked to about this has been like, watch Mindhunter, and I'm like, I did, and I got kind of bored, but I'm gonna try watching it again for this. But yeah, the kid from Glee's in it.
Blaine?
No, Jesse.
Oh,
Jesse's in it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, oh, what was I saying? I just think a lot of it goes back to his environment. Like, he obviously grew up in a bad... I mean, obviously things weren't great from the start, but just, like, the whole situation, like, living with his grandparents, thinking they're his parents, thinking his mom's his sister.
Did he ever find out?
He
Oh, wait,
did?
Yeah, he did find out. How old was he?
I'm not sure. I think it was in 1969. He went and, like, found the records. I think.
Oh.
So
I'm
he
not
figured
sure.
it out himself?
I think. It said different, like, sources, like, vary on that. I'm not sure. But, yeah. And he, like... He was, like, really... I don't think he talked to his mom after that. Yeah.
Did his parents ever, or did his family ever, like, talk about it?
Not that I've found...
Or, like, did they go to, like, the hearings and shit like that?
Well, they've definitely talked about it afterwards, because his, like, Aunt Julia would, like, tell stories about it.
Mm.
I think they talked... Because there's a lot of books about him. I think they were interviewed a lot for books. I don't know about his mom, but his aunt. I think I'm assuming his grandparents died before. I don't know, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys up to later? Huh?
Might fuck around and handcuff myself.
Same arm.
To the same arm, yeah.
Arm. Oh my god.
Yeah, he seemed kind of stupid.
Like,
For the amount that he
don't
was
know.
smart, he seemed kind of stupid.
Yeah, I don't...
Especially, like, back then, where obviously it was really hard to get caught.
Yeah.
Like, he managed to get caught a lot.
I feel like it was just... I don't know why he stayed in America.
Yeah,
He's
he
top
could've-
10 on the FBI's most wanted list.
He could have left.
He caught a
could've
flight to Chicago. Why can't...
not driven badly.
Like, he made
Yeah.
a lot of mistakes.
And it's stupid.
I mean, yeah, like, even the way when he was confessing, like, it seemed... I mean, obviously he knew it was bad, what he was doing, but, like, confessing in the third person and not wanting to take
He also did it more
responsibility
like
for it.
bragging.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's what I would think.
But,
That's
like, if
why-
he was gonna brag, then why wouldn't he, like, take full ownership?
Yeah,
Because he
but
knew
I
he
would
didn't want to
think-
get...
Well,
caught.
go to jail.
Most
But
of the
if
time,
you-
like...
But most of the time, like, serial killers, they want those bragging rights, so they, like, end up bragging about it. And if you'd killed more people than he confessed to, like, I don't know, it doesn't go along with the conventional, like...
Well, I think he would, like, start talking about some other girls that, like, the cases hadn't been solved yet.
Hmm.
And, like... But, like, wouldn't fit... Like, a lot of bodies weren't found
Yeah.
in things. Yeah. 70s were a fun time. I don't know about you guys. Sounded fun. This podcast is sponsored by Glowworm Magazine.
Hit me up.
Take
for
a moment to thank your
Let's take a moment to
sponsor.
thank our sponsor, Glowworm Magazine. Is it magazine or just scene?
It's magazine.
Glowworm Magazine. Nothing is out yet.
Okay.
It doesn't exist yet, but it will, and please stay tuned for when it does.
So yeah, Youth Run Zine.
A youth run zine.
You can plug it yourself.
No, I want to plug it.
Well, I was.
A youth run zine.
And it is about.
And it is about many
stupid
things. Yes. So
Please submit your applications
for what?
to be in the
To be in it. Okay. Yeah.
Follow
Good luck.
Glowworm Mag on Instagram.
Follow Glowworm. Have you made the account?
Yep.
Why does it follow me?
I don't make it yet.
So you just lied? Wow.
Follow Glowworm Mag on Instagram.
What if you
It'll-
can't get that?
I can.
You're gonna make it right now. Okay. Please don't be offended by making fun of Ted Bundy. I know he did bad things, but also he was stupid, and we're allowed to think he's stupid because he did. I don't know. Thank you, Frosted Flakes, for letting us buy your cereal.
Thank you, Miss Vicky's Chips.
Thank you, Miss Vicky's Chips, for making me sick right before the podcast. I love your chips. I wouldn't mind a
Great
sponsor.
chips.
Great chips.
Today we ate the sweet
The
chili
best
sour
flavor.
The
cream.
best flavor.
It's the best flavor.
I think there's a salt and vinegar.
Oh, come
fucking
on.
sucks.
Kettle chip salt and vinegar
Yeah,
is better
kettle
than salt.
Yeah, true.
Of the Miss Vicky's
Salt and
flavors?
vinegar and ketchup are the worst flavors.
I disagree.
Worst
That
flavors.
is so wrong.
Yeah.
What do you like? Like green onion and sour cream?
Okay, but
and
no, you can be delicious.
Okay,
But-
Glowworm Mag is now online.
Idiot.
So follow
Okay,
it.
follow Glowworm Mag. It was just created right now.
This was the Ted Bundy and Frosted Flakes episode of Serial and Killers.
I still don't know about that name.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how to end it,
Thanks
actually.
for listening.